But not long after I moved into the own house, I started saying to myself before I went out, get ready to smile. And that is because, hey yo, salam, peace. I am the Nomad Nana. Welcome to my channel. Hey yo, salams, peace. What's going on? Every day I go out for an exercise walk, about a half an hour, a little less than 2 miles, early in the morning because it's hot. And when you go out that early, you kind of get before the sun is overhead and everything. Now, I have used walking as a main form of exercise since I hit my 40s. And it's great. It's weight bearing. And here everything is pretty flat. So I'm not like really challenging my asthmatic breathing reality. But normally when I implement something like this, my focus is on getting outside, fresh air, weight bearing to, actually be, on, as opposed to say when you do things in aquatic physical therapy. And also it is very relaxing for my mind, because when I'm also moving and nature is all around me, I get a serious mind change. I'm that person, I just get inspired in nature. And I also find a great deal of peace and serenity. So I don't need anything for that other than, a decent pair of shoes. I don't even own like sneakers or tennis shoes or whatever they call them these days. I don't own them, but the shoes that I do wear are flat with a very solid base. And so it's very secure, when I'm walking, for things like slippage and stuff like that, which when you're in the tropics and things grow all over the place, including moss, yeah, I have slipped on the pathway just walking because, it's wet from the last rain or early morning dew or whatever it is. So, my shoes are pretty good for that. And other than that, I don't feel like I really require anything. But not long after I moved into the own house, I started saying to myself before I went out, get ready to smile. And that is because as I walk through this village, the people are so friendly and they recognize me and they know what I'm doing. It used to be they would say, Mau kemana? Like, where are you going? And the answer to that question is not to say I'm making a circuit, for a couple miles. The answer is to say jalan, jalan. Now, jalan, Jalan, that's the word for road or street, more likely. But it's also the word that's used twice to talk about walking. So jalan, jalan means walking. It sounds like they're saying chillin', doesn't it? And that's exactly how it feels. It feels like I'm chilling and I'm acknowledged in that kind of basic thing by the people in my new neighborhood. They recognize me, they know my name, they know where I'm from, and so over time, there are all these little check-in spaces where I will say "Salamat pagi" or just "pagi," which is good morning. And they will say, "Mau ke mana ibu?" Like, where you going? But actually, they just want me to say "Jalan jalan." And sometimes that's what they'll volunteer. They say, "Jalan jalan ibu," you're walking. Or sometimes they will say, "Jalan sihat," you're walking for your health. Sometimes people that I've known more and I've seen like in the mosque and other places, they will ask more things like, are you on your way back? Because the circuit that I take, I either go in one direction or I go in the other direction because I'm a person who likes change. And so when I go out, I don't ever know which direction I'm going to go. And so when I pass certain places, I could be on my way back. And they will say pulang. Pulang means to return home. So they know that I am on my way home and I'm not just starting the walk if it's in one direction or the other. The other thing about walking in the tropical rice farming village for me is that things keep growing and whatever grows will change. And so I will be looking at, other people's gardens as we pass them, kind of update on the work that they're doing in their own garden. Also, because it's the tropics, things overgrow. So like even some of the pathways that I walk down, the grass gets to be pretty high, or the weeds, get to be pretty high. And then eventually they'll come and they'll cut them back. One of the places that I walk, they had these giant bamboo that had leaned over the canal, the water. And I noticed when the rainy season began, those leaned over bamboo, they got more and more leaning over, and I'd have to kind of like duck to get under. And then one day I go, and it's all cleaned up, and I can stand up straight again because they chopped down the ones that are nearly on the ground and just pile them up on the side, which is one of the amazing things that they do. They make piles of everything in this community. But the point about this video really was just to say there's no way in my projecting, this dream of this wonderful possibility that I could have imagined some other things that have come along with the particular place where I'm located. So the idea that I said that, get ready to smile, it's not sometimes when I'm reading a novel, they'll say the smile doesn't reach their eyes. Well, people here, they have radiant smiles. And I don't think I've ever smiled so much, on a daily basis or, just in going out, because the people do recognize me. I recognize them. I have created the two-hand wave. Nobody waves with two hands. They usually wave with one hand, but I'm always waving with two hands. And so it's gotten to the point where there's a whole bunch of people out there who now wave back at me with two hands. And it's nice because, a granddad will be out with a baby and, baby's just starting to walk and everything. And I'll say, mau ke mana? So it's this connection to people who are so generous in spirit that they welcome me and also change my demeanor when you have experienced the kind of, intense life that I've had, the gender jihad, the idea that I could settle down in a place where there is just so much love and generosity and kindness and smiles for miles that you get to add to the morning walk. And trust me, you can't script this. You can't say, I want to be able to move to a village where people are going to greet me when I'm walking in the morning. Some people feel like people in a village are kind of nosy, but I have a very transparent life. So, for example, if I go traveling and I'm not out for my walk every day, my neighbors are going to notice that I'm not there. And then they're going to say something. And then I'm going to say, oh, I went out to Kalimantan for, visit to the orangutan. Watch this spot because I'm definitely going to share that one as well. So I don't mind telling them, it's like one of my neighbors did a complete revamp. They have like the most sophisticated gardening going on in their yard. It's a couple that you can tell there are no kids at home and they really get into it. And they did like a complete revamp with their own kind of like a greenhouse effect with different things that I don't know the names of. But the thing is that when I first saw them, when I got back from the US, I said, "Oh, I went out to the US to visit my family, and I came back, and everything has changed. You got a whole new setup and everything." And then they were kind of explaining, what they're doing. Yesterday, when I was walking, the lady had a giant snake on the end of a stick. She dug up a snake from one of these pools that they sometimes collect fish in, and they sell them. They collect them and feed them till they get a certain size, and then they sell them somewhere else. It's just one of the many mom and pop businesses that people operate in the village. And I saw her with that snake, and I definitely commented on it, and she definitely commented back. Not that I caught it, but that's not the point. This is not just that I get to experiment with my little bit of language. It is also how to embrace the embrace of this community, the generosity and the kindness that they show to me. And yeah, so, I get up in the morning, do my salah and meditation, feed my cats, have coffee or tea, and then I go out to smile. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, share, help a sister out. Peace.